If you are an upcoming producer or artist and need to know where to get equipment, I'll let you know in this video. When I first started, I was having issues and difficulties trying to find out exactly where to buy music equipment and software and what exactly I needed to get the job done, to get started doing music. When I first started doing music back in 2008, I ran into a group of friends that was already doing music. And they told me about, I asked them what software they were using, and they told me that it was FL Studio. Back then, well, some time ago, it was referred to as Fruity Loops. And with that, you can make beats. And it also depends on which version you buy. My recommendations to you is purchase the most expensive one you can buy. But if you're buying online, it might be different. I purchased my first one at Guitar Center. So this is one of the places that I recommend going if you have one of these in your city. Guitar Center, I pretty much got majority of my equipment from Guitar Center, and the reason being is because it's a physical store that you can actually go to. You can also buy stuff online, but majority, a lot of times you can just walk into the store and they have a huge selection of things you can buy. So other places that that you can go that I like also are BSW. You can look that up online. BSW is a music place, and I don't know if they have any physical stores. They might, but I do a lot of online shopping with them. And then the other one is Sweetwater. And one more place that is similar to Guitar Center is Straight Music. Now, I don't know which cities or states that they are in, but in my hometown, Austin, Texas, they are there. So I would really have to say that I believe Guitar Center has more of a selection and they have more stores than probably something like Straight Music. But there's been a lot of times I went to Straight Music and found things at Straight Music that I couldn't find at Guitar Center. So sometimes they just give bargains on different things. And so I think it's good to shop both stores. So those are the 4 stores that I typically shop at and recommend. Actually, and the crazy thing is, you know, you got places like Best Buy and Target and stuff like that that do carry. Well, I don't know if Best Buy still carries it, but I know at one time Best Buy had some of their stores where they had actually like a whole music department. Last time I went into a Best Buy, they said they had done away with that. I don't know if that was all the stores or just that store in particular. But my first microphone that I ever bought, I got it from Target, and it was $100. And so I'll explain to you about different prices and different types of microphones and why they are used for different things. Like if you're on stage, for example, a dynamic mic is a better fit for stage. They don't have a lot of feedback from what I understand, and they do have some feedback, but they have less feedback than a microphone that you would use in a recording studio, like a condenser microphone. Condenser microphones, they sound very different than dynamic microphones. If you ask me, they give a very, I don't know if hollow is the word, but it's a very light, it's a lighter sound, it just picks up very, very differently. Stage mics have a really huge impedance, and typically stage mics are not as expensive as studio condenser microphones. I think the most expensive stage mic I've ever seen was maybe $600. But on average, you could get one under 50 bucks, a good one under 50 bucks. So if you're paying 50 bucks for a stage mic, 50 to 100 bucks, that's probably a really good stage mic, I would guess. But dynamic mics, those are stage mics. You typically talk into those from the top. So other microphones, like in the studio, you have ribbon microphones, you have tube microphones, and then you also have condenser microphones. And don't confuse condenser with the term cardioid. Microphones have different pickup patterns, and the pickup pattern is something totally different than the type of microphone that it is. So typically in the studio, what the average person is probably using is a condenser microphone in the studio. But if you're looking for a more sweet, warm, beautiful sound, you might want to go with a tube microphone. I don't think a tube microphone should be used on every song because the type of sound that it gives. But if you find yourself when using a condenser microphone, if you find yourself adding a lot of effects and plugins and stuff, trying to get a certain sound out of that mic, it's probably best that you try a tube mic. I've never used a ribbon mic before, but tube mics they give a very, very beautiful sound. And it's not like it's an artificial sound or anything like that. It's just the microphone is built differently, you know, and it uses tubes to bring in that sound. So price-wise, on microphones, and I could give some recommendations on which microphones to get for somebody just starting out. And it depends how serious you are about your music. One thing that my teacher told me is always invest in yourself. And you know, some people do things for a season. Other people do things for a lifetime. And you have to understand, are you in this for a season, or are you in this for a lifetime? You can't be tossed to and fro like the waves, you know? So if this is something that you're serious about, then invest in yourself. If this is something something that you're just playing around with, then yeah, you probably wouldn't want to spend too much money on it. For people like that, I would say no more than maybe $200 for a microphone. $150 to $200 for a microphone is probably beneficial for somebody that doesn't really plan on selling music or anything like that. And that's just the microphone. We still got to get into there's three things you need typically three pieces of hardware that you need typically to be able to get some work done studio-wise, recording-wise. So that's a pair of headphones, that is a PreAmp interface, and then your microphone. So the PreAmp interface is basically how you get the sound from the microphone into the computer. So your microphone, professional microphones they don't have a USB connection. My first mic I bought was a condenser mic, but it was a USB. I bought it from Target, $100, and sound quality wise, it wouldn't be something I would sell. So, you know, it just depends on but that is a cheaper way. If you don't plan on selling music, you could go with a USB microphone. Now, I think USB microphones might be getting better over time, but still, the way that the professionals typically do it, we're not using USB microphones. Unless you're doing something like I don't know, maybe a podcast or just something live where you're not doing a lot of editing and stuff like that. Those are probably fine for stuff like that. But when you're editing and doing a lot of producer-wise editing and stuff like that, you want to jump into a little more to the professional side of it. So professional microphones are going to have a XLR connection. And so you'll see 3 prongs that go into the bottom of the microphone. And those 3 prongs cannot plug into your computer. XLR microphones, they have even the stage microphones are gonna have this type of connection. So I don't know if you can see the 3 prongs that are there, but the 3 prongs that are there, and then basically you have to plug this is the cable, right? So this is what the cable looks like on each side. So you would take one end, take this in, and plug it into the microphone. And it clicks in like so. And then the other end you would plug into your PreAmp interface. So there you have it. And then the other end, we have a USB connection. So you have a regular USB 3.0. And this is how the sound transfers from analog to digital. And it becomes digital and goes into your computer. So different types of microphones. These are both condenser microphones, different in pricing, but they are both studio condenser microphones. This one is about $100 to probably $150, $200. Probably can get it on sale for $100. This is a Audio Technica AT2020, and I use this on several songs that I've actually sold. And this is a C214, and I've used this one on songs, and I like this one better, but the price is different, and it depends on, this is why I say you have to invest in yourself and you have to start somewhere. So typically starting out, you want to make sure this is something that you really want to do, and once you understand that this is something that you really want to do for a lifetime, then you can decide, are you just going to do it for a little while, or are you going to do it for a lifetime? And like I say, if you're just doing it for a season, then you probably just want to go with something more like this. $100 to $200 studio microphone will be fine. You'll get good results out of this, and you could even sell your music. But it doesn't just start and stop at the microphone. Preamp interfaces hold a big part in studio quality. So this one is on the professional side, on the serious professional side. If you don't have a lot of money and you're not serious about your music, I wouldn't recommend buying this. If you're serious, I'd recommend buying this. This is a lot more expensive. This is the Apollo Twin made by Universal Audio. Now you can probably get them for about $800, $500. And it doesn't matter if you get the Twin or the Solo. The Solo will be cheaper because it only has one processor in it. The Duo or the Twin would be, I think that's the $800 one. But honestly, they're gonna give the same vocal quality. It's just, the only difference you would need one with two processors versus one with one processor is if you're running a lot of analog plugins. If you're not running a lot of analog plugins, if you're not familiar with analog, there's really even no point in, you can just get the Solo and be fine. So if you don't plan on running analog plugins. But from a serious producer standpoint, I went with the Twin, and they also have the Quad. But I don't think they had the Quad back when I bought this one. So I've had this one for a very long time, probably when it first came out. But so what your preamp interface does is it converts, like I say, it converts the microphone signal to a digital signal that the computer can understand and read. So the reason I like this preamp interface more than any preamp interface on a budget side is because I know this is expensive, but it's still on the budget side. There's way more professional equipment more than this. So because what this one can do is, unlike other preamp interfaces that can only convert your signal from the microphone to the computer, that's pretty much all they are, is like a converter. This one is more than just a converter. You can actually edit your vocals in analog before they are converted into digital. So this is a very, very professional, top-end piece of equipment. This is why it costs what it does, and this is what you'll see 90% of, I would say, 90% of the producers using this piece of equipment right here, this Apollo Twin made by Universal. So I'd say save up your money and get this if you're serious about your music. You can always start with a digital preamp interface. Like what I recommend is the UR22 made by Steinberg. I use the Steinberg with this microphone right here on 2 songs that I actually sell. So, and a lot of people, they think that the quality is good. So I'd say you can get very, very good results out of a $200 mic and a $200 preamp. So that's $400 that you just spent right there, but they run sales all the time. A lot of times you can get this mic for $100 to $150, and a lot of times you can get the Steinberg UR22 for $150. So at the most, $300 for the mic and the preamp interface. Now you still need headphones. So the headphones that I would recommend is a brand called Sennheiser. And I like Sennheiser because I haven't heard a pair of headphones from them that I was unhappy with. And I've purchased a lot of headphones, especially from them. Probably 85% of the headphones that I bought have been Sennheiser. But I've never went any lower than the HD, I think it's HD 250 or HD 200 or HD 280 or something like that. I see those in the studio all the time. So headphone wise, you don't really need to spend a lot of money. When you get a headphone like the Audio Technica, I think it's M50, those are like 150 bucks. So let's take the Audio Technica M50s, which are 150 bucks, I believe. You take those 150 for your mic, and then 150 for your preamp interface. That is $450 for everything you need. So that's the low end, I would say. Headphones, you don't really need a really expensive headphone. I've seen top of the line producers using the $150 headphones that I'm telling you about. And when you buy this preamp interface right here, this is pretty much top of the line right here. You don't really need anything higher than that for somebody who's just starting out or doing something in their own personal home. Now, where the huge price comes in is microphones. Now, there are more expensive headphones. There are more expensive preamp interfaces out there. But microphones, I would say, is where you're going to spend the most money. And I've done research, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this. I know what the professionals use, and $150 for a mic, like I say, that's the low end of the professional world, but you're still in the professional world, so this is okay. The most expensive microphone that I've owned is a Neumann TLM103. I've had a TLM102 as well. The 102 was, I think it was about $800, $850 or something like that with tax. But if I could recommend you a microphone, a budget microphone with pristine quality, I would say the TLM103. Don't try to be cheap and go with the TLM102. I've used the TLM102. It's a nice microphone, but I still recommend the TLM103. So the price, there is a huge, well, I don't say huge, there is a probably double the price you would pay, but you're gonna be happy with what you have. I've seen artists from Alicia Keys, Mina Elliott, and a lots of others use the TLM103. It's probably the cheapest mic that they would ever use. They wouldn't probably use anything cheaper than that. So when I tell you it's a really good, the most expensive or the best budget mic you can get. So if you're very serious about what you do, and you're trying to go all the way with it, do this for a lifetime and get, very good quality, then that is the mic to go with until you can afford the more expensive ones. Once you have invested in yourself and you start making money off your music, then that's when you can start reaching into some of the higher end things. And I'm still going to tell you about some cheaper mics, but I just want to tell you about the higher end mics. That is the Neumann U87ai. You don't really have to remember the name Neumann. If you type the letter U, the numbers 87, and then the letter A and I, this microphone will come up. It's about $3,000 to $4,000, and it sounds like a lot of money, but that's why I said when you are making money off of your music, then that's when you can invest into these better microphones. This is like one of the world's best microphones. That microphone, and then there's another one by Sony that is a C800G, and that microphone is $10,000. And so it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but what you have to understand is 90% of the music you listen to on hit songs, they are using these microphones. So if you want to be able to give the quality, the hypnotizing and pristine quality that these people are dishing out, then this is what you have to do. So the C800G microphone that I'm telling you about is a tube microphone. Oh yeah, there is one other microphone that is a tube microphone that is cheaper. I don't know, I can't remember I know what it looks like. It's a red and black microphone. I wish I had my phone to look it up. But I'll post the details about that in the description since I can't think of it right now. Because once I look at my phone, I'll be able to pull it up. It's a tube microphone, and that microphone is about, I say, $3,000. Two to 3,000. I think it's like $3,000. So right, like 2,900, I believe. So with that microphone, you know, I'm just saying, if you get what you can, you know what I'm saying? But the thing that I'm telling you about these higher end mics is once you buy that mic, you'll never have to buy another mic ever again in your life, unless you break it or something like that. But I'm talking about as far as the quality, you know that you have the top of the line quality, and you don't need to spend any more money. There's other mics that cost more than that. There's mics that cost $30,000. There's mics that cost, you know, so these are not the most expensive microphones, but they are the best microphones. So they've been used countless times on hit records, especially the U87ai, which they typically use the U87ai with a Avalon 737 SP, which is a tube preamp, which, you know, it's your choice if you want to use a condenser, run it into a tube preamp, and then run that tube preamp into this. It's up to you. I like the option to be able to use the condenser microphone and then being able to use that with a tube preamp, because sometimes I don't always want to hear my voice going through a tube. If I'm doing a chorus or singing or something like that, I'm probably going to use the tube. But when I'm just doing a regular verse or something like that, I'm probably going to revert back to just the condenser. So the good thing about having a condenser running into a tube preamp is you're able to use the tube you're able to use the condenser microphone as a condenser microphone, or you can run into the tube preamp and use it as get tube sound out of it. So the Avalon 737 SP it gives phenomenal top of the line, top end results. This is what countless musicians have used. So the stuff that I'm telling you about, I've done research on for years and years. So instead of you having to go around and try to figure out what equipment that you need, I'm telling you right now what type of equipment that you need. And as far as monitors, I didn't get into monitors because it's not something that you really need. I didn't get into keyboards and stuff like that because it's not something that you really need in order to get a song done. For years, I worked on music with no keyboards, no monitors. And when I say monitors in the professional studio world, a monitor is a speaker. It's not referring to a visual monitor. I'll show you what a monitor is. This is a monitor. It's a speaker. And these by far are some of the, these are Yamahas. Yamaha 8. These are Yamaha HS5s. And I like the HS7s and 8s. But if you're looking for what the a lot of the professional producers are using to get that sound, that, you know, where you know you have top of the line or pretty good sound, it's what I recommend. So there are monitors that are better than these, but as far as as far as getting a professional result and still not breaking the bank, this is what you want to go with. And they are a a updated version of the, I think the NS, is it the NS? Which gave a horrible, I don't want to say horrible, but they gave a sound where if there was any mess up in your music, you would hear it. You could hear everything on these monitors. So these are like an updated version of that. So typically, if you can get a song sounding good on the NS monitors, then they would sound good on any monitor. They would sound good on any speaker. So that is why a lot of producers like using the Yamaha HS5s, because they are an updated version of the vintage monitors that I'll put a description of those as well. But yeah, so I gave you a budget, and then I would, if you want to know my recommendations for serious artists without breaking the bank, I go with this preamp, the Universal Audio Apollo. You can go with the Solo, which is probably about $500. That's brand new. You get your warranty and all that. And then I would go with the Neumann TLM103, which is going to cost you anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500, because you can get it with additional equipment. Just like, for example, this microphone here comes with like a little clip, and you can get some microphones you can get with a premium shock mount, and some of them come with like the box that goes in it, the wooden box, and it's like an anniversary set. Neumann does that a lot with their microphones, but you don't have to get that. You can get the $1,200 one, and it's gonna sound exactly the same as the $1,500 one. You just won't have the spider shock mount. You'll get the free mount that comes with it, and so. But yeah, that's what I recommend. All you have to type is TLM103, and it's gonna come up. You'll see that microphone. The TLM103, the Apollo, so the Universal Audio Apollo Solo, and the as far as headphones, like I said, you can go with the Audio Technica M50s, or you can go with the Sennheiser. And the Sennheiser that I have are the HD 380 Pros, and they are typically the same, pretty much the same speaker as the Sennheiser HD 280s or 250s or something like that. I think they have the 200s and the 280s, but if I was you all, I really wouldn't go any lower than that, and that's just my opinion and recommendation because I haven't heard anything lower. I did hear some Sennheiser, no, they were Audio Technicas that I heard that were cheaper than that price, but the Sennheiser HD 280s or 250s, whatever they are, they are very inexpensive. I think brand new they were like $200, and price went down to like $150 now. I think you can get them for like anywhere from $100 to $150. So these right here, the HD 380 Pros, I've heard that they got discontinued, and they were selling out worldwide in the US. And I was like, why are they getting rid of those? And I was going everywhere looking for them. And I got one of the last pair in the US. I made them hold them for me because I could not, I kept seeing them, but then when I would go into a store, they would be gone. Like, because people knew that they were selling out, people were buying them like it was the lotto or something, like they were a limited edition. And these give a certain type of ear protection or something like that, kind of different than the 280s, but typically it's the same quality. I think these just help more when you're turning your music like really, really loud. I don't recommend turning any speaker, a headphone, or speaker monitor that is in this price range. Even the HS5s, I don't recommend you turning those up really loud because they're not really designed to handle extreme sound levels like that. But if you use them at a reasonable sound, they give pristine qualities. So take care of your equipment and it'll take care of you. But like I said, get you a pair of the Sennheiser HD 280s. Get you a pair of, and I have more expensive headphones, and there's some laying right here on the floor, probably about 500 bucks, probably 400, but you know, and even when you take it a step further, you probably want to get yourself a very good surge protector. The ones I would typically buy are anywhere from like 35. You can find them $25, $35. Don't get those little cheap $5, $10 ones that plug into the wall. It's more like a power strip, not a surge protector. It doesn't really protect your equipment. But I've always bought those for my equipment. I would never plug my equipment straight into the wall because I'm trying to keep my equipment for decades, centuries, you know. Take care of your equipment and take care of you. But I recently upgraded to a surge protector that not only does surge and spike protection, but it also has a power filter in it. So it filters the power that's coming in to your equipment so that the power is pure, and that makes a lot of difference. So it was $100, but you know, I've seen them top of the line producers pay more than that just for one of those. They pay probably anywhere from, I would say probably $1,500 for one of those things. I'm just guessing because that's very important because all of your equipment is plugged into that. When you got a $5 million studio or $1 million studio, like you're not just gonna plug your equipment directly into the wall into a $5 power strip. That is crazy. So my recommendations on equipment was the TLM103 microphone. It was and this is for somebody just starting out, but that wants the best for starting out. The TLM103 microphone, the Universal Audio Apollo Solo, which is like 500. Like I said, the TLM103 was like 1,200. And then the headphones run you about 150 to 200 bucks. So 100 to 200 bucks. So that's it. So you're looking at, to have a top of the line beginner studio, where you're pushing out premium quality, where you can be confident in what you're selling. That's gonna run you, I said 12 to 1,500. So let's say 1,500 plus, let's say 500 for the box. That's 2,000. And then for the headphones, you know, maybe 150, 200. So probably about $2,500. Now, I didn't get into software because typically it depends if you are making beats or if you're just a recording artist. If you buy beats from somebody else, you don't need to spend any money on software for the simple reason most of the equipment, if you buy a microphone or if you buy a PreAmp interface, they typically come with software that you can use to record. So that's why there's really no point in buying it. Now, if you are a producer, then I wouldn't recommend. I've been using FL Studio for ages. That's what I started out on back in 2008. But when you look at the reviews quality-wise, FL Studio is not giving the full quality as some of the other programs like Pro Tools and Reason and Cubase and stuff like that. And I've been using FL for a long time, and I'm just like, why does it sound like that? And it's a certain sound that it gives, but now I've feel like I've got to a point where I've kind of mastered the program so well, not so well, but to a better point that I'm getting good results out of it. And I've heard the people that created FL Studio record on the equipment, and they know how to use their program. So the results are doable. I just need to, I'm not one of those that's big on reading. So I just don't want to sit up and watch YouTube videos for the rest of my life either. So it's like, why can't somebody just tell me how to use this? That's what we all want, right? We all want the shortcut. But yeah, self-taught. I've been doing it since 2008. And I'm just giving you what I've learned in a video. I know I talk too much, but hey, I got a lot of information to give. Some people say that I don't read and I don't look up things. And look, if it's in the Bible, I read and look it up. I probably know more about the Bible than them people that's telling me that I don't look up things. If it's pertaining to music, I probably look it up. I know more about music than a lot of those people that are telling me that I don't look stuff up. So just because they know some things more than me, I know more about cars than them because I went to auto repair school for it, right? So invest in yourself. Don't settle yourself short. And for anybody out there that is, like I say, if you're on a budget, I would tell you to get, if you still want better quality than the $200, $100 mic, then the other mic I was showing you was the C214. And the thing I like about this mic, there's a lot of things I like about it. Would I recommend it over this one? Yes. Would I recommend it over any $200 or $100 microphone? Yes. This mic here probably costs about, I think it was $400 to $500. But I feel like you get more for your money on this mic compared to some of the mics that are more expensive than this. This mic could probably sell for about $800, but it's only $400 to $500. Why am I saying that? It comes with a premium pop filter, wind filter, and it also comes with the premium shock mount. And it also comes with a premium carrying case, which I don't have right now with me, the shock mount or the carrying case. But in some other mics that are like $800, you're paying extra money just for those things, and they give them to you free. So, and you're still getting a nice quality out of this microphone. That's why I say a lot of people use the $200, $100 microphones. So if I was you as an artist, if you want to stand out, I would say don't buy the $100, $200 microphones. It's all about, you want to stand out, you want your music to sound a little bit different, step your game up and get something better. Get something on a that's not on the bottom level, you know. But these are still very good microphones. You can listen to, maybe I'll put in the description, 2 of my songs that I use on this microphone right here. And, you know, I still listen to those songs today because I feel like the quality was decent. Quality was good. And I didn't even use this preamp interface. I didn't have it at the time. I used a Steinberg UR22, which is a $150 preamp. And the reason I recommend a Steinberg UR22 is because I use higher sample rates and higher bit depths. And a lot of the other preamp interfaces that I used, like for example the Focusrite, everybody uses the Focusrite. I don't like it. And I'm not saying that it's a bad preamp interface. I'm just saying everybody's voice is designed for a certain type of equipment. My voice was not designed for the Focusrite. I didn't like how it, and it might have just been because I was using higher bit rates and sample rates. See, a lot of people recording 44.1 16-bit, so they're not hearing a lot of the stuff in a lot of the what's going on in the equipment. So I use the Steinberg UR22 and high sample rates, high bit rates, and that thing sounded the same. Like it held its, for the amount of money, $150 that you spent on it, it held its pureness no matter what setting you had it on.